Hey football fans, welcome back to another edition of Under Further Review. In these segments, I'll be giving you a quick look at each team going into the 2013 season. I'll be talking about last season, the offseason, the draft, positions, and can they make the playoffs. Today on the board, we have the Detroit Lions from the NFC North Division. Let's look at what happened last season. They went a surprisingly 4-12. Don't know what happened there. They didn't make the playoffs. With the crummy line, though, Matthew Stafford almost threw for 5,000 yards with just 727 passing attempts. Whoa. There really was no defense as they ranked 27th in the points allowed category. Calvin Johnson almost hit 2,000 receiving yards but only racked in 5 touchdowns on the year. The offseason. Well, we know Lions fans, 2011, 10 wins and a wild card spot in the playoffs. I applaud that. 2012, 4 wins and no playoff. What happened? Well, turnovers were killer, injuries obviously were killer, and scoring on offense also with points given up on defense seemed to be a huge problem all season. They lost a lot of players on defense in the free agency also this year, but I think it'll work out for them in the long run with a good draft and free agents that they signed. So they also brought in running back Reggie Bush to help with the subpar running game. Though they did have a disappointing season last year, the talent is still there, so this team can at least get back on track. You can bet your money on this, though. Head coach Jim Schwartz doesn't get this team back to competing and start winning games. Schwartz will be gone from Motown. My favorite picks from the draft. I liked a lot of picks the Lions made this season, and my favorite picks have to go to first rounder Ziggy Ansah, of course, from BYU, and fourth rounder Devin Taylor from South Carolina. I have no doubt in my mind that these ends will either be starting or playing this year due to the fact that they lost ends Kyle Vanden Bosch and Cliff Averill and Lawrence Jackson. Ansah has so many positives, it's ridiculous. He's 6'5" at 273 pounds and has a lot of talent and learns quickly. Taylor is a 6'7" end who has long arms, and I could see him factor on the defensive line. A much needed upgrade to a depleted defensive line. Positions. Quarterback. Well, Matthew Stafford just signed a 3-year extension at $53 million. Well, Lions fans, at least your QB is solidified and will continue to be slinging the ball around in the future for Detroit. Can't dislike a guy for almost throwing 5,000 yards in a season and had a team that went 4-12. Backups are Sean Hill and Kellen Moore. Running backs. Well, this group seems a little intriguing with the addition of Reggie Bush now in the backfield. They should be able to bring up the running ranks just a little bit from last year's 23rd ranking. With the running attack of Bush, Michael LaShore, and Jacoby Bell, the passing lane should be opening up a little bit, bringing coverage to play a little bit closer. Receivers. Do I really need to describe the player Calvin Johnson, aka Megatron, is? You know what's funny in the NFC North is that the Lions have the best wide receiver in the league, along with the Vikings, who have the best running back in the league, along with my man Aaron Rodgers as the best quarterback in the league, playing for the Packers. It's just a little food for thought there. But now, Megatron can't do all the work, so they need Nate Burleson and Ryan Boyles to stay healthy and step up with Titus Young gone too. Tight ends Brandon Pettigrew will hopefully step up too with Tony Scheffler as their numbers went down last year, so they need a better year as they enter their contract year. Pettigrew also needs to stop dropping passes. Offensive line. This line was fairly old, so making this unit young again was a key priority for the Lions this year. They lost 3 starters this year, so they'll plug in Riley Reef at left tackle, Bill Nagy at guard, and Corey Hillard at right tackle. They really don't have a lot of flexibility here at this position, so it's crucial that this corpse can stay healthy and protect Stafford more importantly. Defensive line. Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley were fantastic last year and remains as the only starters left on this line. Hopefully Fairley can stay healthy all season. The Lions let Cliff Averill go to Seattle, and Kyle Vanden Bosch and Lawrence Jackson are also gone. Without a doubt, Ziggy Ansah and Devin Taylor will start, but the question is how effective will they be their first year and how will the chemistry mesh with each other? Linebackers. At the middle, you have a gimpy Stephen Tulloch, who led the team in tackles last year, who needs to turn into a leader on this defense. They also re-signed DeAndre Levy but lost Justin Durant to free agency. Lions have never really been able to be a stout at this linebacking position and need a much needed replacements at outside linebacker. This corp doesn't really produce enough like the line does for this defense, which is unfortunate. The secondary. This unit stunk. Stunk last year. Interceptions were low and lots of points were allowed. Well, things are changing with free agents Glover Quinn getting signed and getting back a healthy Louis Delmas. That's a plus. Cornerbacks Chris Houston was re-signed to be a solid starter on the left side, but the right side, no one knows, and it's up for grabs this season between Bill Bentley, Jonte Green, Chris Greenwood, Ron Bartell, and second-round pick Darius Slay. Hopefully this unit doesn't bite the injury bug this season. Special teams. Now, Jason Hanson is gone, and to replace him will be David Akers. He should be healthy and ready to go, and punting duty will be going to 5th-round pick Sam Martin. I'm excited to see who will be returning the ball on punts and kickoffs. Maybe Reggie Bush? Can they make the playoffs? No. And here's why. Though they did make a playoff spot 2 years ago, I do think there are big issues with the transitions on certain positions that I don't like, that have me maybe next year they can contend for a spot, just not this year. What I'm saying is the chemistry is just not going to be there for this team. I'd expect Stafford to be throwing hopefully 5,000 yards, and definitely his touchdowns will go up. Calvin Johnson should have another big year with more touchdowns also. These two guys are the leaders on offense, but who is the leader on this defense? I can't really think of anybody. I would expect that Ndamukong Suh could be that guy, but I think he's too immature and can't really put himself in that role. I do think Jim Schwartz gets his job saved as I find him in the hot seat right now. He's definitely in the hot seat because he needs his team to start winning some games pronto. The Lions cannot finish below 500, obviously, because he's going to be gone. And yet another semi-rebuilding year would have to take place, and I don't think the Lions or the fans want to see that anymore. They want wins, and they have a great QB, and they have a great wide receiver, the best in the league, in Calvin Johnson. But I just don't feel like this is the year for this team to make a run for the playoffs. And with that, my football fans, concludes my segment on the Detroit Lions. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can subscribe to my page, and please, anybody, leave any comments. If I missed out any info or mistakenly said something wrong, let me know. Next team I'll be taking on will be the Minnesota Vikings, and lastly after that will be my Packers. So that should be pretty exciting. Anyways, see you later, football fans.